Hey everyone, welcome back. This is Terry of thetattooedbikerchick.com. Do you believe in ghosts? Spirits that walk the earth? Demons? I have a story for you. I can't really say that I did really believe in ghosts before this happened to me. Are you ready? Let's begin. The year was 1986. When my ex-husband took a job at a restaurant resort down in a little town called Port Isabel, Texas. He moved down ahead of us, and the two babies and I moved down a bit later on. My brother helped me pack my house into a U-Haul truck, gather my two children, and move everything down to Port Isabel. My daughter was almost 4 years old at the time. My son was about a year and a half and had just began walking. What I thought was going to be an adventure of sun, sand, beach, waves, and everything else turned out to be the exact opposite, and something that would change the course of my life. So my brother and I took the 12-hour trek from my house in Arlington, Texas, down to Port Isabel with two kids, one barely walking, and a U-Haul full of furniture. The house was fairly easy to find. We pulled up in front of it. It was very, very cute. It was a small stucco house with a guest house in the back. Okay. So it was like a garage that was converted to a guest house. A huge screened-in front porch. As my brother and I got the kids out of the car and made our way up the sidewalk to the house, this feeling came over us. And the house began to look creepy in a very indescribable way. It was more of a feeling, a sensation. And the closer we got, the stronger that feeling became. I remember walking to the door. My ex-husband said that he had left the key under the front mat. I bent over and picked the key up. And when I looked at it, it was as if I could feel the energy of that key. It's nothing I can really describe in words. I remember my hand trembling as I went to put the key in the lock. It took a little bit of adjustment to get the key in. Finally, I got the door unlocked. And I remember my brother looking at me. And I looked at him. It was a feeling I had never before experienced, and it rushed through my body. I glanced at my brother, and he was looking at me like, I'm out of here. I turned the knob and opened the door. When I opened the door, the energy was so strong. My brother and I looked at each other. He was just white. All the color had drained from his face. I felt all of the hairs on my neck stand up. And I remember glancing down at my arms. They were covered with goosebumps. I looked back at my brother. His face was colorless. And I remember beads of sweat forming above his brow and falling down onto his cheeks. before they made their way into his beard. The kids started to cry. It was difficult to form words. Finally, I was able to ask my brother if he felt that. He couldn't speak, but he nodded yes. We each took a deep breath and walked over the threshold into the empty home. As we took that step to enter the home, I was flooded with this feeling of dread and uncertainty. I didn't believe in ghosts. I didn't believe in haunted houses at that point. I looked at my brother again for reassurance, and suddenly the feeling was gone. As quickly as the feeling had overcome us, it lifted. We walked in, we looked around the house. There was a small living room. It was a very quaint little house. There were 2 bedrooms, a bathroom, and a rather large kitchen. We shook off all of the feelings we had and just, we chalked it up to being the end of a very long 12-hour drive with 2 little kids and the intense heat of Texas. I put my son down. He had just started walking and he was toddling about the house. My daughter was running and looking at everything. And my brother went out back to look at this guest house that was there. I started bringing things in from the truck, thinking about where I'm going to put art. My ex-husband was an artist. I was thinking where I was going to put the paintings, how I was going to arrange the furniture, everything. I was quickly caught off guard when I turned around and my brother was standing there. My brother is 6'4" and has always been a big guy. Never afraid, or seemingly never afraid of anything. I had never seen his eyes so intense with fear. He looked at me and said, "Terry, whatever you do, do not go into that house. It's evil." Those are words I never thought I would ever hear my brother utter. I was a Christian and he wasn't. Yet he was describing this sense of overwhelming evil in that area. My little dog wouldn't go in the backyard. She just barked. My cat was acting really strangely. I wasn't really sure what was going on. But Eric couldn't let go of what he had felt when he looked through the windows of the guest house. I remember laughing at him when he said, "There's something really bad in that house. Don't ever go into it." I'm like, "Yeah, what? A ghost?" He said, "I don't know what's in there, but it's bad." Then I remember him looking at me and saying, "I'm telling you, Terry, something really bad happened there." The next few days I spent unpacking boxes, getting to know the area. The town was so cute. We had coconut palms, we had orange trees, avocados, limes. Our backyard was like a tropical. Okay, so that freaked me out just then. Our backyard was like a tropical paradise. It was beautiful. The smell with the breeze. We were right, if you're familiar with Texas and Port Isabel, you know it's right there across the causeway from South Padre Island. We always had an ocean breeze, and with that breeze came all of the tropical scents of the flowers, the citrus, the ocean. It was amazing. My ex-husband really was never home. Since he was a chef, he worked very long hours, and he generally got home after we were asleep. So the kids and I were on our own. We explored the town, the cute little lighthouse that was there, everything around, and pretty much blocked out that feeling that we had felt, or that I had felt when I first entered the house. So the kids and I, we spent our days walking through the little town. And about a block from our house, there was a very festive Mexican cemetery. And we used to love to go there. The Mexican culture has a much different view of death than we do. And I just always found it very intriguing. So we explored. We were at the beach. We would go and get fried chicken, go to the beach on South Padre Island, and we would feed the birds. And I just let that feeling dissipate. As I walked through the streets of the little town with my kids, everyone was so friendly. And it was a small, quiet town. And I remember thinking, this is the perfect place to raise my kids. It was almost my daughter's 4th birthday, and kids were everywhere. So I pretty much immersed myself in trying to plan her birthday party. Since I really didn't know any names of people at that point, our neighbors and, all of the kids, we made invitations, and we decided to take them door to door to invite people or the children to come to my daughter's 4th birthday party. I remember walking up to one house in particular. It was a little orange stucco house. The screen door was shut, but the front door was open. Most of the houses down there didn't have air conditioning. And the smell of food was heavenly. We knocked on the door. I had my kids beside me. We were eagerly awaiting to meet the occupants. And the grandmother came to the door. She was very small, had a little round face. Everyone knew who we were because we had moved in, as I found out later, to the house that had been unoccupied for 3 years. She appeared very nervous as she surveyed us from behind the purple frame of the door, almost hesitant. I introduced my children and told her about my daughter's birthday party, and we would very much like them to attend. She hesitated, and I could see she was trying to think of something, but wasn't really quite sure what to say. And then she finally said, "We have plans that day. The children won't be here." And she shut the door, the front door. It was like, whoa, that was weird. As she shut the door, she locked it. I didn't know what to think. I was in my early 20s. Not a whole lot of life experience. I wasn't really sure what to think. And I didn't put together her reaction with my feeling in the house. I didn't know what, I couldn't really understand it at that point. After that initial house, The kids and I went to several more homes, and each time we had the same experience. There would be no children coming to my daughter's birthday. I couldn't understand it then. So we ended up taking her to dinner to celebrate her birthday. We decided, my ex-husband and I wanted a night out. And we had made reservations on the island at a wonderful restaurant and began to make phone calls. We got recommendations and started to make phone calls for a babysitter. One by one, they declined as soon as they learned where we lived. Finally, we got one girl to say yes. I had asked her to be at the house at 7. 7 o'clock came and went, and she never showed up. Finally, about 7:45, there was a knock at the door. She was a beautiful Latina girl with long, thick, shiny hair and lashes that framed her huge round eyes. She was exquisite. I welcomed her into the house, and she seemed very shy, very shy. She was looking around the house, I noticed, about the same way I did when I first entered the house. I began to tell her about my kids, their bedtimes, show her around the house, but she wasn't very eager to move from the one spot in the living room. As we were getting ready to leave, she said something that I'll never forget. She was trembling and could barely speak when she asked, "Is this a scary house?" I didn't know what to say. When she asked me that question, it threw me off. And I asked her, "Why would you say that?" She looked at me and asked, "Do you know what happened here?" My blood ran cold. That's where I'm going to stop right now, guys. Hit that notification bell. Make sure that the bell is turned on for notifications so that you'll get the next installment of this. Please like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you guys on the next upload. Have a fantastic night. Peace.